Yo, what is good? It's your boy RD, and I am doing another video on this 100-day challenge. And we are talking about Clean Sri Lanka and what's going on with these guys. So, during January and whatnot, you had all this hype about Clean Sri Lanka, keeping the streets clean, bus buses having these extra fittings should be removed, buses should be disciplinary, all these sort of things that took place in the start of the year. But we don't know what has happened to this program, because I just want to talk about overall keeping your community clean, uh, and explain like why it's really good overall and why we should keep striving about it. And this is more or less like a reminder to society, like, look, we have to do this thing, right? 5 6 months have already passed, and there is not much progress in this regard. Now, when I do walk the streets of Colombo, they're generally clean. There's no issue with it, but it's because the neighborhoods that I work in are pretty affluent in that sense. So, but certain areas, even when I turn certain corners, especially these inner by roads, they sometimes tend to be really dirty. I, for example, sometimes see tissue papers and bags on the floor. And you might be like, well, that's not as bad as, say, some other countries in terms of their cleanliness. But I say we should hold ourselves to a high standard if we want to keep the moniker of, or rather the standard that we are a clean country. We should be self-responsible. That's what make people come back to countries like us, like tourists and all, because we are apparently like really have a much more better reputation in terms of cleanliness amongst tourism. So yeah, for example, you see Reddit threads like this, right? Now, we are not perfect in this regard. There are areas where, now, for example, here it says, hello, I'm a clueless foreign tourists that has been in Sri Lanka for about 2 weeks. I also spent about 3 months in India before. I'd give you guys, this was back, by the way, 1 year before. So this was even before the Clean Sri Lanka program. And he goes on to say that India, even tourist places, were dirty and littered with trash to an extreme level. I've been driven around Sri Lanka, and and amazed by how clean it is. Also, I almost take a piss. I gotta leave my house. You should read this one up. That's crazy. So I fear ATMs. I carry sanitizer with me. I'll never go back to India. And it's just some back and forth. Let's check the other comments. I'm in Sri Lanka as a tourist. Yeah. Top-down policies seem to work in Sri Lanka. Colombo's not so pleasant until 2000. Still better than early. Then the government did clean up the place and put some decent infrastructure in, some traffic laws. No one wore seatbelts till mid 2000 when government imposed them. People used to smoke in public transport in the 90s and blah blah blah. I gotta agree. Restrooms. Yeah, so here are cases where we should improve, and this is what I was talking about. Just because there's this perceived notion of Sri Lanka being better in terms of cleanliness in the subcontinent, we should hold ourselves to an even higher standard. And the reason I make the case for this, and it's not harsh, some people might conceive this as harsh. It's not harsh. If you want to maintain the reputation for being clean, we should hold ourselves to high standard. Because if a foreigner even goes to a remote place like Ella and see Ella, and they see, sorry, small interruption. So yeah, Ella, and Ella washrooms should be clean. And if they are not clean, these are remote places, right? So for example, you don't want to go to Sigiriya, go to washroom and it be really dirty. Now that's a tourist place. Say you go to a random washroom in some random train station in Sri Lanka and it's filthy dirty. What the hell? It's not just the main train stations you should keep clean, like Colombo, Norelia, or Ella for that matter, because Ella is a vast tourist bottleneck. I mean, not a bottleneck, I would say a like a a keep area for tourism flow, right? You should be able to keep it clean, and we should not just target these key areas. We should target pretty much every area we can. We have to have an overall approach, and we should strive for that, and not just towards remote places, just remote places. So we were looking at what has been taking place in terms of Clean Sri Lanka, because there's been absolutely no update in this regard. We do see some people citing it, like for example, new, for example, this new program for tuk-tuks in tourism sector. New initiative has been launched. Service standards, attitudes, ethics of trailers. So it basically says here, a new initiative has been launched under the Clean Sri Lanka national program aimed at improving the attitudes, ethics, and service standards of three-wheeler drivers operating within the tourism sector. And then engaged in, okay, so I believe that 10,000 three-wheel taxi drivers engaged in the tourism sector. The program to train these drivers are estimated at 25 million. Aims to provide three-wheel drivers. Now, this, of course, extends to the whole problem with three-wheelers, for example, pick-me's and Ubers, right? You go, you go and drop a client off to a tourist off to these hotels or down south spots, and there are these tuk-tuk thugs, right? And they come and fight the pick me guys and the Uber guys. So the pick me guys and Uber guys have developed this sort of perceived fear of not wanting to go there because of the fear that they'll be attacked by tuk-tuk thugs, because the tuk-tuk thugs say the pick me and the Uber guys are stealing their business, which again, completely wrong. If pick me and Uber is giving a better service than those tuk-tuk thugs, we should we should allow that, but we should not allow the fighting. I mean, isn't that the whole point of markets? Like the whole free market thing is about the better service wins. You don't fight and coerce people to use your service. You offer them a good service and customers keep coming back to you. So I mean, I don't know to what extent this will do any improvement to tuk-tuks in Sri Lanka, but we will see. We will give them the benefit of the doubt. But I can tell you this: we don't see much in terms of action out there. We're just seeing these now. For example, they're reviewing the financial year, and so furthermore, there are plans to construct 500 standardized and modern toilets in tourist areas. So they say they're allocating money, but they have not got to the implementation phase yet. So these are just all in this allocation state. I will try and link these two articles if I can in the description below. It's all in the implementation phase, right? And that's the thing we need to get from, I think one columnist in Daily Mirror put this correctly. We should go from theory to actual implementation, and not just being saying that okay, we are going to allocate money for this. It's not just about allocation. We need to see action. We vote, the people, not me personally, but the electorate of Sri Lanka voted you guys to see action, not just on the corruption front, but on bringing the country out of this perpetual crisis, right? uh, and making Sri Lanka look better in the world stage. So I believe that if the current government does enough proactive action in terms of this Clean Sri Lanka front, we can definitely go far ahead, and people will be more inclined to visit our countries. And I think it's a benefit for everybody. And I talked about the government stance on this for like 10 minutes. I should talk about the more important part, and that is us, the individuals. The individual is also, it's not just the government. We can't put the whole thing on the NPP government too. We should also address the individual and his power in being able to transform. For example, I cannot find the exact source, but there are pictures of people when the port city footbridge opened. I think this was back in 2022. When it opened, there was already damage in the footbridge. This, which was constructed by, I believe, the CHEC or the GOSL, the government of Sri Lanka. It was already damaged. Now, I do not have any information if the bridge was built in a lower quality or anything like that. But regardless, if it was damage done by the people that use the bridge, that's totally unacceptable. These public spaces are not your spaces. This space is a public space. The word public has the one and only, what you call, purpose. Sorry. No, what I'm trying to say is this. This is meant for the public. It's there in the word public, right? And when you misuse these spaces, you deny other people, like, for example, people like us. Now, when I saw the picture, I still did not go to Port City Footbridge because I didn't have the time to go there. You will deny me the safety and the cleanliness of the bridge because I'm also part of the public. So don't think about yourself when you go to these spaces. When you, for example, say, I see some people throw stuff on the road, right? Throw bottles on the road. Why are you denying me that clean space? Because it's not just, this is not your backyard. This is not your front garden. This is literally public space. So some people have this very selfish sort of idea in terms of cleanliness, and we should do better. It is, the onus is on us to understand, look, okay, if you cannot take the if you have no place to put the trash in a dustbin or something, most public places now have dustbins. But in the event you do not find a dustbin, take it home. Take it home. Or put it in your pocket. And I mean, you're going to wash your trousers or pants in the end of the day. So go home and put it in the trash. Don't discard it on the roads, on the streets, because you're making people's lives more harder. Just don't do it. Just put it in a dustbin. Now, I remember I was at Vihara Mahadevi Park last Friday. I bought this ice cream cone and I put it in the side of the pocket because there was this event. It was a music melodies event organized by the Colombo Municipal Council. It was a pretty cool event. And I was eating this ice cream and I managed to slide it in the side of my pocket, right? So I was just enjoying the event. I was waiting to, find a dustbin and then put the trash and then go home. So I just put it in this side of my pocket because, because I couldn't find a dustbin nearby me. I was in the middle of the park, and I couldn't just hold on to the thing. So, and then when I was about to go, I was like, wait, where did this packet disappear? Like, who would come and rob it? It was on the ground. I was like, oh shit. I immediately grabbed it because there were people also around. Oh shit. And I just grabbed it immediately and then went to the dustbin and threw that sucker because I didn't want to look like the bad guy. I'm like, holy shit, this thing flew out of my bag. And if I didn't notice, it would look really bad. And by the way, police was also there, so you couldn't do anything like that. So I immediately took it, put it in the dustbin, and went home. But it was a cool environment. Everybody's cool. Everybody was chilling, relaxing. But even in that event, it was built into my mind, yo, don't do this, don't dirty the place, it's beautiful as it is, keep it beautiful. That's all I gotta say. Let's leave it at that. Keep it beautiful as it is. And I'm referring to your environments. That's all I gotta say. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you in the next day. Ari signing off. Peace.